I want to ask you one other question. Kyler Murray. If you remember after the Hail Murray, you remember, and Kingsbury went crazy. Oh yeah, Kyler and Mahomes can share the MVP every other year. You remember all those comments? Mm-hmm. And obviously that team petered out, didn't make the playoffs. Is this a big year in your mind for Kyler Murray and where he is, and what? How do you feel about him?
Well, Kyler was hurt at the end of last year. That was a big reason his production cut off. I think it's a big year for Kliff, right? And they've given him plenty of offensive weapons, but I don't know if they can stop anybody. I like Kyler. I mean, the ball he's always going to be little, and he's always going to have to make plays, kind of like Russell Wilson-esque, right? Where he's going to have to move, he's going to have to find the unique windows. I'm much more bullish on Kyler than I am maybe on the Cardinals. The Cardinals' issues are, will they commit to running the football? Can they stop anybody? Basically, is Kliff building another Texas Tech where they're really fun to watch? They put up really good numbers, but do they actually watch football games? I think it's bigger on Kliff than it is on Kyler.
Okay, that's fair because, it's not often you get run out of a place in a college situation and get rewarded a NFL job because you had a cup of coffee and a sweet roll with Sean McVay, so that made him marketable.
I don't think that's why he got the job.
He took the job at USC.
Yeah, USC. Yeah.
Right. What do you mean? He wasn't up for any NFL job. He got run out of Texas Tech. I mean, that was rubbing because he rubbed elbows and they were going.
That's not why he got the job.
Sean McVay and let's just go after young coaches and with not that great experience and go that route. I mean that it became a flavor of the month. The NFL's a copycat league, you know that.
I do know it is, but it's not because of Sean McVay. That's not why he got it was not why he got the job. It was he's played in the league. They wanted it. They to get Kyler Murray, you want to get a guy who fits Kyler Murray, and he fits Kyler Murray. And look, Kliff's smart. I mean, he's going to forever tie his ship to Kyler Murray because he's like, look, I'm the guy who knows how to make this guy super successful. The question is, can they build an offense around them? A defense, around that style of play. And what's interesting about it is we've had so many successful college coaches who haven't worked in the NFL. He was not a crazy successful college coach. Why can't he work in the the success in college football is not it does not determine your level of success and aptitude in the NFL game. So if that's the case, why does it matter whether or not he was successful in college?
It's not that. It's that it's just weird that a guy who was run out of a place, who wasn't up for any head coaching jobs in the NFL, who had taken a job at USC,
yes,
right? Because that was the best that was available to him, got rewarded with an NFL job. That's all. I think. Well,
if we're fair, they went from
who should have gotten an opportunity.
If we're fair, they went from three wins, 5 wins in his first year, 8 wins last year. There's a reasonable progression. It's a very, very difficult division to win in, but we are crushing Kliff Kingsbury. They're clearly better than they were previously. Can they take the next step, right? The hardest steps you're going to take in the NFL is not to being, 7-9 to 9-7. It's, can you win the 10 games? Can you win 10 games? Once you won 10 games, you solidified yourself.
You think Kliff Kingsbury is going to win 10 games with
I do not. I do not. There's 17 games. There's a stronger likelihood. Let's ask Mike Sando, who joins us. By the way, the compact GLA proves it's not the size of the SUV in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the SUV. Learn more about the nimble and ready for anything Mercedes-Benz vehicle at MBUSA.com. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Mike Sando joins us, the Athletic Football GM podcast.
What's up, Mike?
And the originator of the QB tiers. We want to get to other stuff, but Rob said, big year for Kyler Murray. I said, I think bigger year for Kliff Kingsbury, but if we're fair to Kingsbury, he took over a terrible team, terrible franchise. They won 3 more games.
Usually when you get a head coaching job, I hate to break it to you, Doug, usually the team is bad. That's why they have a new coach.
Yeah,
I like that. I'm going to pull up a bar stool here.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm just saying.
Not always. Yes and no, not always.
Most of the cases when you get a job, Right? It's because things didn't work out with the previous guy. That's all I'm saying. So let's not make it like
it was
he's
really
reinventing
bad,
the
though.
wheel.
I mean, they were really historically bad,
Yes.
offensively, and they made this move to get Kyler Murray, which has helped them. Obviously, I think that who is it a big year for? Well, if Kyler Murray doesn't have a big year, Kliff Kingsbury is getting blamed for that.
Correct.
If you know what I mean? So, I mean, for who has the most at stake, it's clearly the coach. I mean, I don't think anyone's looking at the coach going, okay, here's the three things we know Kingsbury does great, right? I mean, that quarterback has to play well and progress, and he has. And now if it keeps going, they take another step, everyone's going to be happy. If it regresses, I don't think it necessarily means Kingsbury's out, but he's the one who's going to feel the heat for that.
Where is Kyler in your quarterback tier? You're the originator of the quarterback tiers. Where is Kyler Murray viewed in the league?
Yeah, Kyler Murray came in towards the bottom of the second tier, 12th overall. And 12th sounds great, but remember, Roethlisberger's bailed out of the top 10. Breeze and Rivers have fallen. So, it's good, but he's, right behind Matt Ryan. He's behind Justin Herbert already, Dak Prescott, Matt Stafford, Lamar Jackson are the guys right ahead of him. So it's a good place to be, and as long as he keeps going up.
Who do you have out of the new rookie quarterbacks at the top? Who's the top rookie quarterback coming into this season?
Well, I don't put rookie quarterbacks in the quarterback tiers because so many of the guys, I talked to 50 people in the league, head coaches, GMs, coordinators, not all of them studied the guys coming out. So it just becomes a guessing game where you're trying to project. I'm intrigued by Trey Lance, not just off of what happened the other night, but just situationally. I think I have questions about some of the other places, right? I mean, we're excited about Justin Fields, but I don't know that Chicago's going to handle that well. I don't know that that's going to be a great spot to be in with everybody under great pressure there. And who knows if they're going to build it right around him offensively. I feel like Lance can go somewhere where they've got a guy, there's not pressure right away, but the guy's in Garoppolo's going to either, be injured or not play the whole year. And you can put him in with Kyle Shanahan, who really, I think, is pretty good with an offense and knows exactly what they want to be. There's no gray there with how it's going to look. And that would look like a good situation, for me, even if we have higher evaluations on Trevor Lawrence or whatever, just situationally.
The quarterback tiers are always interesting because the data we have is from last year, and one, guys get better, guys get worse, guys get older, and two, we put kind of players around them. We have like an ongoing healthy discussion about Matt Stafford with Rob, right? Rob is dyed in the wool viewer, and I would say kind of fan. Like, he's from New York, but because of his time spent in Detroit, that dude watches every Lions game, right?
I covered every Lions game from the start of his career. I mean, I was in Detroit for 20 years, and I watched the guy play. Obviously, he's talented. He has a great arm. I'm not saying he's a bum or anything, but the idea that it was all everybody else's fault why they didn't win big games and why they never won a division or never won a playoff game, I have a hard time buying into that when he just had one of his receivers go in first ballot as a Hall of Famer. So I just don't believe the Rams are going to the Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. Tell me different, Mike. He's the next coming.
I think he's clearly a tier 2 quarterback, right? If he was a tier 1, he would have lifted them up more in Detroit a couple of times, right? I mean, they had 3 years there that he was a starter. He said 10 years as a starter where he started 10 or more games. They had 3 years where they were in the top half of the league in kind of combined defense, special teams performance. And they won, 10, 11 games those years. But they didn't go beyond that, right? And so clearly we can see there's some holes with him. And it's still fair to say that the organization has held him back. I do think the tier 2 quarterback in a great situation can put up the tier 1 performance. We saw it with Matt Ryan. And I don't think the situation's the same with the Rams. But when Matt Ryan had Kyle Shanahan, a good offensive line, good skill, he could put together, a really nice run. I don't think that Stafford's really been in that situation where they've had all the boxes checked, right? A good offensive line, a good scheme, good weapons all at the same time. I think if they did have that, he might be able to have that type of a year too. Doesn't mean every year, doesn't mean consistently, doesn't mean they're going to the Super Bowl. But I think that it's fair to say he has been held back, but his limitations have shown why he didn't take them higher.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams guys will tell you they feel like it's not just the boxes they checked or whatever. He was never in a scheme that really was perfectly suited for how he can and wants to play. And
it's funny, he has Hall of Fame numbers if you talk to people. I mean,
he does have Hall of Fame numbers, but again, it's more about
big games.
It's more about the scheme in which they play in, right? You got to find the right scheme for the right quarterback.
And if you look, remember the year they had that Darrell Bevel offense, and they took the ball out of his hands a little bit, and it was just a little bit more of a balanced approach, right, with play action and stuff. I mean, I think he probably had one of his best statistical years if you probably look at his yards per attempt and stuff. So you probably would see that. You probably expect that to be what would happen with the Rams, right? Doesn't mean MVP or Super Bowl, but I would think it'd be the high end of what he's done statistically in Detroit would be available to him now, I would think.
Yeah, the only issue is Rams lost their starting running back before the season ever started. We'll see if Darrell Henderson can run the football. But
we're not buying any more excuses for Stafford. This is it. We're changing.
Right, we're done.
The situation. Like, this is the greatest offseason for me because Wentz, it was Philly? Okay, we'll go do it in a good organization, right?
Yep.
We don't want to hear the excuses. Detroit, it was Stafford, it was Detroit? Okay. You go with Sean McVay, right? Goff, you were propped up by McVay? Okay, let's see you in Detroit.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
What should we expect from Tom Brady? And obviously, Rob's a noted Brady hater.
I'm not a Brady hater. I'm just a realist when it comes to Tom Brady.
Bro, you can't call the guy who's been to 10 Super Bowls and won 6
time. That's all I'm saying. That's all. But that's another story.
Okay. I mean, look, I don't like to throw the word hate around, but you're a Brady hater. I mean, it's okay. Just go I'm a Brady hater. It's fine.
No, I'm not. I'm a reporter.
It gets annoying.
You're not a reporter. You can't. You can't. Don't do the reporter thing.
You're an opinion.
You're an opinionist. You write opinion pieces for Deadspin.
Yes.
You do opinion on radio. You do opinion on TV. You're not a reporter. That's not reporting. Saying a guy's the luckiest of all time is not a reporter. That's hating on the guy who's the most accomplished quarterback. He's the most accomplished athlete in the history of modern team sports.
Can our guest talk? Go ahead, Mike.
No. I mean, I'm just.
I get where you're coming from because if you look at just like the performance of his defenses historically, right? I mean, it's helped him. And so when he went into a great situation with the defense and the weapons. That said, a lot goes into winning it all, going all the way. I think that is historically significant to you couldn't have just randomly put everyone in Tier 2 on the Bucs and they win it all. I think that guy, even Peyton Manning late in his career when he wasn't the same, a whole building responds to him. There's a standard of accountability and performance that doesn't exist when they're not there. And we saw that with Tampa Bay. You couldn't have just said, well, you know what? Matt Stafford's a good quarterback.
That was going to make the point. It did make the point. Thank you, Mike. Keep talking. You're making the point. Go. I will stop talking, I promise.
Matt Stafford's going to win the punt, pass, and kick competition.
Yes.
Or the Pro Bowl.
Tom Brady wins the game.
Over Brady. And Brady almost lost the game in the playoffs. Yes. I'm not saying he's perfect.
Yes.
But your team responds to the Tier 1, the true Tier 1 guy. Okay?
Yes.
And I think we saw he brings to the table something there that goes beyond the fact that he needs a little bit more of a run game now or he has to have a good defense. We get that. But you have to give him credit for the other thing, which is they're not even on the map, and they win it all. Dan Marino can play 20 years and be with Don Shula and never win one. It's hard to win one.
Rob, I promise I will give you time. But here's again, it contradicts your argument, right? Your argument about Stafford is he doesn't win. Well, I got the guy who wins. He's the wolf, right? Oh, you got the wolf? That's all you need to say. The Green Bay game's the perfect embodiment. Rob, you'll tell me he had 3 second-half turnovers, and you're right, okay? But the first drive of the game, okay, they get the ball, they march down the field, they score a touchdown. That's Thomas Patrick Edward Brady the second. Okay, and it makes everybody in that sideline going Oh, we got Tom Brady. We're good. You're playing from ahead. He makes the throw at the end of the first half, an absolute dime, and
but that's a terrible defensive call there. The defensive coordinator cost him his job.
That's it.
And that was another situation.
You're not wrong. But Tom Brady made the throw. Tom Brady made the throw.
But you can't play that defense against anybody. I don't care who it was. And my point is,
you're not wrong. But he made the read. He made the throw. They made the catch, and he gave them when they go in that locker room. They're like, we're good. He didn't play good the second half, but the defense won the game, and that has carried
New Orleans, Drew Brees couldn't throw the ball, threw 3 picks. He had a terrible game who helped them win. Also, the defense against Mahomes in the Super Bowl, Mahomes is held to no points. And you brought it up, Mike. Look at his wins as you go forward, as you look at his career and what those defenses did during the Tom Brady era. The greatest show on turf, the Rams were held to 13 points. Go look at it.
True.
They demolished everybody.
It's true, but one of the things that I have done over the years in looking at quarterbacks is they all win 90% of their games when the other team doesn't score much. You know what I mean? If you just look at all the games when everyone's under 17 points, it's Alex Smith's the same as Brady, right? If you look, though, I did look at games where, the other team's scoring over 24, 25, and, the best record was Brady.
Take that for data.
You have to give him some credit, too, that he has been able to win those other types of games as well. He just hasn't had to be in those situations as consistently as somebody like Drew Brees, who had historically bad defenses for multiple years, probably wasted some of his window. And Aaron Rodgers, who, if it's not the special teams, the defense, there's something coming up. And having at least a defense that is never terrible. He's never really been on a team that had just terrible defense all the time. It would be rare. That really does make it harder and stop you from going all the way.
Yeah.
Hey, one real quick. We got less than a minute. Just Aaron Rodgers. What do you expect? I mean, he had an unbelievable season at 37 last year. MVP, obviously. Is there any chance he can repeat that, or are we going to get a cut rate Aaron Rodgers?
I think he should be good again. I think that being in the same offense again, they didn't lose a bunch of players. Now, is it going to go off the rails because he's going to be making he can be executive of the year, making general manager suggestions? I think that has a potential to be distracting, but I think when it comes down to it, he's still got everything and can do it, and I think he's going to be good and probably won't win the MVP because, let's face it, that's hard to do, but I think he has another really good season.
Great stuff, Mike. You thought you were coming in here to talk quarterback tiers and have a sane, sensible conversation. And
no,
Rob and
Mike,
I
you
start
had more fun
and
today. This is what it's all about. This is Sports Talk Radio right here.